What's up, you awesome kissers? CistReactZ, guys. Today we're reacting to Game Theory FNAF. We solved Golden Freddy, Finance at Freddy's. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to Game Theory, and comment down below. I am 2 weeks late on this video. I cannot wait to see how he has solved the mystery of Golden Freddy. I think last time he talked about it on, like... I think he talked about the book last time in terms of Golden Freddy, and how, like, the book said Golden Freddy had, like, 2 bodies or something in it. I don't know. Let's see how MATPAT solved it. Maybe some connections with the book might be at play here. You gotta love MATPAT's dedication to this. 1280. Oh god, I love how the door has deterioration and YouTube's loading because it's so scared. Oh yeah, the FNAF kid's hospital bed. I love how flat it is. Is he saying his ghost is watching him while he's in a coma?
Welcome to Game Theory, where
right,
today's episode is perhaps the single most important that we've done on the FNAF lore in a long, long time. Today, my friends, our goal is to solve Golden Freddy. That's right, FNAF Reddit, I am justified in using my favorite golden boy in the thumbnail today because this episode is all about him. It's them? Which, I gotta be honest, is probably a good thing, because I'm running out of ways to make old Yeller over here look interesting in a thumbnail. I mean, the dude's only got, like, 2 decent quality images in the entire 6-year history of this franchise. Say what you will about milking this—
I can attest to that, because, like, literally, anytime I try to search up a PNG of Freddy Fazbear, like, I put it in Photoshop, and then you can just, like, see all kinds of, like, dots and crappy erasing in the background to try to get Freddy to look like he's a PNG. It's bad. I can
franchise
I can vouch for what he just said there.
If only
it's been a pain all these years.
This franchise was as clickable. But seriously, with the recent release of Bunny Call, the 5th Fazbear Fright book, I think we have enough information.
I can't wait to get spoiled on another book because I haven't been catching up.
Quasi-definitive answer on who is in that iconic golden.
Like, I'm at the end of the last book before Bunny Call. I haven't read the last story yet though.
Suit, which, gotta be honest, is like the biggest mystery to me in this franchise at this point. Solving this one is like obtaining the first of 3 massive holy grails when it comes to the lore of this franchise. But in order to do it, we're gonna have to look at the games, the books, and the spin-offs, and by the end, we'll have ourselves an answer that not only fits with the established lore of both game and book, but also an answer that satisfies pretty much everything about this character. An answer that irons out all the wrinkles and frustrations that I've had when concocting past theories about this guy. Oh, and it also just picks a little bit at the scabbed over wound of a past theory, poking it just enough that it might be infected. So, are you ready to have your mind blown? Are you ready to finally have the answer to this mystery?
So he said them earlier. Does he actually think there's
in the making?
2 people in Golden Freddy?
With the Stitch
Golden Freddy had 2 colored eyes right there.
The CistReactZ story is happening in small chunks at the end of each Fazbear Fright book. It's kind of like an MCU post-credits teaser minus the color-shifting Thanos. It's about an animatronic suit pieced together from the haunted spare parts of various toys and robots, given life through the power of human agony. Now that it's alive, the creature is wandering the city, collecting more haunted toys, and killing people with its zappy hands, sucking their bodies dry and making them cry oily black tears. And up to this point, that's pretty much all we knew about this.
Watch the CistReactZ come back in FNAF Security Breach. I bet you. Just as like some type of probably DLC or something. I don't know. CistReactZ is gonna come in FNAF SB.
That the reason we're meeting this thing is to prove
we're hyped for FNAF SB. Make sure you guys hit the like button, comment below. Comment down below.
Set him up as the new villain for that upcoming game Security Breach, or at the very least, that's what I thought. But oh no, dear theorists.
Okay, maybe he's not.
More important than we could have ever imagined.
Maybe he's not coming to Security Breach.
Book number 4, Step Closer, we meet Andrew and Jake, the 2 souls who find themselves trapped inside the CistReactZ. And the conversation that they have when they first meet starts to give us some of the lore drops that we have been waiting years to hear. Quote from the book: "Now Jake was inside a metal thing. He didn't know enough about anything to understand what it was, but he did know that he wasn't alone.
Of the kids
sharing
possessing a robot?
Strange place. Oh, hi, Jake said. I'm Jake. Who are you? I'm Andrew." The child's voice was rough. He sounded a little like a boy Jake used to know in school. A boy who was always talking back to the teacher and getting himself in trouble. Jake thought Andrew sounded angry. Very angry. End quote. We're told that even though both both their souls are infused into the same endoskeleton, Jake is the only one able to move the StitchWraith's body. He's also the only one capable of seeing the outside world. Andrew is blind to it all. It's kind of like those two-man horse costumes.
So he's the rage that runs in the StitchWraith?
Especially on Chipotle days. It's no wonder Andrew's so mad. I'd be too if I was forced to spend an eternity looking at someone else's soul butt. However, it's when they start talking about their former lives that things start to get really interesting. Quote again, "My memories are kind of fuzzy," Jake said. "Fuzzy, yeah, so are mine," Andrew responded. "But I do remember wanting to get back at someone who hurt me. I think I attached myself to him. I got into his soul, made sure he couldn't move on when he should have died. I remember I wanted him to suffer, the way he made me suffer. I remember they tried to kill him, but I wasn't..."
Is he gonna say that this connects to how FNAF, Ultimate Custom Night is? Is this guy like the parallel version of whoever is the first half of Golden Freddy? I'm saying first half of Golden Freddy because I'm thinking that MATPAT thinks that there's two souls that are in Golden Freddy. One that's like looking outside and, you know, contorting and moving and stuff, while another guy's just angry and wants to keep, you know, William Afton inside of a death loop. So I'm assuming that MATPAT's gonna say that.
"Wasn't gonna let him go until I was ready." With a story like that, you could almost say that Andrew is a spirit wanting revenge. A literal vengeful spirit, perhaps. Now, loyal FNAF theorists have an idea of where this is all going.
I just want to say it first,
when
so I can
Ultimate
sound smart.
Custom Night first came out, we theorized that the entire game
Discord
was
sounds.
William Afton trapped in a fiery hexscape, a constant cycle of torture and torment at the hands of his past victims. Or should I say one victim in particular,
Golden
the
Freddy.
spirit of Golden Freddy. Sure, he was called by many names, the one you should not have killed, the vengeful spirit, but in the end, by doing the impossible of that game and beating 50-20 mode, it's revealed that Golden Freddy lingers on, twitching with rage, refusing to move on into his afterlife.
Yeah.
And here, Andrew is pretty much confirming exactly that. Sound the party horns and the children celebrating. It
So he
looks
could
like
be
we
like
got
one of the spirits
life. Or
that
should I
are,
say
that's
mostly
basically the rage of
What's
him.
interesting about this whole Jake-Andrew conversation from the book is that back with Ultimate Custom Night, we assumed that William Afton was dead and that this was just his afterlife in purgatory or double hockey sticks or whatever. He died
It's a
in
purgatory
Henry's
of
Fire, the one that was
sorts.
set at the end of FNAF 6, the one meant to bring the whole series to a close. I mean, how could he not be dead? Henry even had that awesome final line for him.
Although for one of you,
The darkest pit. Yeah, I was gonna say the darkest gate of hell. Darn it,
so don't keep
losing my FNAF memories.
friend.
You don't just survive one-liners like that. And yet here,
No, you don't.
Andrew says that he was actively keeping his killer alive against everyone's attempts on his life. So does that mean that Afton is still... No.
I always come back.
He attack, he protect, he always come back. But just because William may have been kept alive in the book lore doesn't necessarily mean that he was left alive in the game lore too.
I think that he's like just stuck in some ghostly death loop.
Fast forward.
I don't think he's alive. He could
newest
never
book,
be.
Bunny Call. What was originally supposed to be the 5th and final installment in the Fazbear Fright series.
I promise you, I'm paying
literal
attention.
5 books of
Checking my
Freddy's,
audio.
until of course it got extended and now we have ourselves the bonus 6th and 7th night books. And while the first 2 stories in this new book are interesting and certainly worth talking about on a different day,
Hey, no
it's
touch to
the
that
third
Audacity
one,
window.
The Man in Room 1280 that ties into our Golden Freddy mystery today.
Oh, that's why you had
Stop
1280 in the
if you've heard
intro.
This one before. It's about a mysterious man in a hospital, burned well beyond the point of death, and yet somehow he remains alive. Quote from the book. The man had no face. A hole in his skull indicated where his nose used to be.
No.
Dark,
I will never believe that William Afton is still alive.
Toothless mouth gaped without lips.
He needs to die.
We'd be remiss if we didn't warn you, the nurse said. We know what that is. Evil, Father Blythe. Evil. In fact, the hospital staff is so convinced that he's the embodiment of evil that they tried to kill him multiple times, via injections, via smothering, via seances, but nothing will do it. He cannot be killed, but not for the reasons that you would expect. It's not an iron will to live or the remnant that's flowing through his veins that's keeping him alive.
It's a ghost.
Each attempt on the patient's life is thwarted by the ghost of a boy with curly black hair wearing an alligator mask. In fact, the two seem to be intertwined with each other. The story informs us about the patient's brain patterns and they're a bit unusual. Quote, according to the hospital's sleep expert, that particular REM pattern indicates nightmares. Horrific nightmares. See, there and there, the nurse pointed at one part of the scan. 2 signals means...
There is no way that UCN is like some type of dreamscape. Not like a purgatory state, but a dreamscape that Golden Freddy is keeping on William Afton. That is awesome, but at the same time, we need to kill this man, dude. He's been a menace for way too long in the FNAF series. Yo! I see what MATPAT's going with here, and that's pretty insane, guys. This is why Golden Freddy's my favorite character, dude. He is petty, alright? Well, I just realized today that he was petty. I just like Golden Freddy in terms of, like, his design. But, like... Or he's my favorite in terms of his design, but now he's like my favorite because he's like super petty. He has like an angry, vengeful spirit that wants to keep his killer alive. Not purgatory alive, no, alive! So, I mean... Then does that mean like William Afton will somehow come back in SB with his like reluctant follower Vanny or something like that? But wouldn't it make FNAF Help Wanted like useless then? Because I thought like the whole point of FNAF Help Wanted was to preserve William Afton in a different type of way other than him being in the series for real. So, yeah, like I thought the whole point of Help Wanted was to create a new killer for everybody to look up to. A new killer created by William Afton. Or a new killer, like, possessed by William Afton. I think Vanny is, like, possessed by a glitch or something. I don't know. I forgot.
It's two living things,
but like,
two entities. They're both vying for control of the brain, but they're at odds with each other. We think they're tormenting each other. Sounds a bit like Andrew, right? Andrew attached himself
tormenting
to the
each other.
That
would make sense why Golden Freddy's all twitchy and stuff. And is it a stretch to say that the other spirit might be like Old Man Consequences or something? Because you've seen Old Man Consequence try to tell Golden Freddy like, you need to stop at the end of the UCM.
And refuses to let him die so he can torment him. Which is the exact relationship between the vengeful spirit and William Afton in the games. And if there was any doubt about who this mysterious man in the hospital is, the patient...
I know I'm pausing so much, but...
Fazbear Distribution Center, and we're told that the CistReactZ mystery is somehow...
I'm sorry, before I finish. I know I'm pausing a lot, but MATPAT's really like opening my eyes up on some good theories. But like, what did I just say?
The patient wants to go to a Fazbear Distribution Center, and we're told that the CistReactZ mystery is somehow tied to a mysterious fire involving Freddy's and the former owners of the business. Every which way to Sunday, this is our William Afton stand-in for these books. Andrew is our vengeful spirit stand-in, and it feels like the book is trying to tell us that Custom Night wasn't purgatory or heck, it was Afton's living nightmare, as he was laying in a hospital bed recovering. William Afton may still be alive. Or maybe he was alive and then he eventually explodes. Yeah, the story ends with William's carcass being wheeled out to the Fazbear Distribution Center, and then it literally blows up like a bomb. It is just as gross and gory and disgusting as you would expect it to be. Maybe it's a good thing that these books don't have pictures. My personal guess is that this is what releases the angry spirit of Andrew into lots of other toys like Fetch and Plush Trap, and it may also be how Afton's soul gets itself into a computer chip that eventually gives life to Glitch Trap.
Okay.
This has been a lot about Afton, and I promise
that would make sense how Glitch Trap came to be.
Freddy. So how does it all connect together? Well, notice how I described
Andrew's
ghost. A boy with curly black hair and an alligator mask. It's the same hair as the mysterious dead body found inside Golden Freddy's suit back in Fazbear Frights #3. Quote from that book. Down low, past his arm, Devin could see a body.
Screw Devin,
body,
by the way.
It wasn't exactly like he thought he'd find. This one
Dick move.
Curly black hair. The lore of this series doesn't tend to give us a lot, but one thing it tends to keep relatively consistent is hair. So knowing that Andrew is an angry spirit with curly black hair, and that Golden Freddy has a body inside of it with curly black hair, Andrew is pretty clearly our Golden Freddy kid. Which
I got
makes
lines up
things
too.
related to Andrew roughly related to Cassidy back in the games. Want even more of a connection between the two of them? The name Cassidy is derived from an Irish surname meaning clever or curly-haired. Actually owe that little factoid to Redditor Shrek the First. It's a good find on that one.
Of course y'all find that out.
Look into the name Cassidy. So even
yeah,
though
how do y'all think about that?
Named Cassidy in the books, he is still representing the origin of the name through his hair. Now, here is why all of this matters. Follow me on this. Both Andrew in the books and Cassidy in the games are missing children's incident victims, stuffed inside of suits and angry enough to keep their killer in a purgatory state so he can be tortured.
Real pissed
Seems
off.
like a pretty slam dunk connection there. We know that up to this point, the books have been hinting at the fact that Golden Freddy may have more than one soul inside of him. And in these stories, we see Andrew actively upset
character
that he has to share an endoskeleton with another dead kid. So is it possible that in the games, Golden Freddy is possessed by both Cassidy and the Bite of 83 victim, Vengeful Spirit and the Crying Child, just like Andrew sharing a body with Jake in the books? After all, we know via clues in the text, as well as book number 6's description, that his endoskeleton mate Jake is a nice kid who died tragically in a hospital. We know that the Crying Child is also a nice kid who dies tragically in a hospital, even though he got bitten before, but you know. Now, admittedly, that alone is a weak sauce connection, I admit it. What's not weak sauce, though, is that evidence is actually out there to prove that two spirits are in Golden Freddy. So last month we proved that Foxy Bro is definitely Michael Afton. It is a huge confirmation from the series, but that came with a set of problems, specifically in the form of the security logbook. The problem is that the spirit Cassidy in the book seems to be talking to Mike about things that only apply to the Bite of 83 victim, saying things like, "The party was for you," and talking about his
that handwriting.
Purple telephone. It doesn't make sense if Cassidy is talking to Michael Afton. But what if Cassidy isn't talking to Mike? What if Cassidy is having a conversation with someone else, with a second spirit? The logbook doesn't just have one person in it, it has two. This was brought to my attention by a comment on YouTube from Inky Ink, who says it's not useful reading the YouTube comments, right? Quote, "I direct you now to pages 89 and 109, where we see a spirit replying to Fated's questions through altering the text existing in the book. Therefore, we know that Fated is not talking to Mike, but talking to Mike's brother, who is also in the logbook. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk." I gotta say, that is the best TED Talk I've ever seen. Definitely beats the one about how to dry your hands using a single paper towel.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And Inky Ink isn't wrong here either. I went back to double check. One of the things the Fated text says is that the party was for you. And right there on page 89 is the answer, "It was for me." A statement and an acknowledgement of that statement. A conversation. Two spirits, one book. Two spirits, one animatronic. For years, I have been frustrated by the fact that the Crying Child, the Bite victim of 83, would have made the most sense to pass into the Golden Freddy body, but it never lined up with the fact that 5 kids died during the missing children's incident, and that one of them would have had to have gone on to possess Golden Freddy. But now we have a solution to both of those things. Golden Freddy can still have the Bite victim in him, one that says, "It's me," when he sees his brother working as a security guard. But it can also have a second spirit in him, one who died in this horrific missing children's incident murder. And
just a question on that theory. Like, I swear, like, on the first page of the book belongs to somebody named Mike. And Michael Afton, there's still the discrepancy with that. So, like, so does the book belong to Michael, and his dead brother just opens the book and has a conversation with himself and another spirit, or himself and another spirit in a suit that they're both possessing? Well, Michael Afton's just, I don't know, having a slice of pizza and not even paying attention to his open haunted book.
Who continues to torment Afton long after he's passed on. And the logbook isn't done. Sure, on those pages we see the responses of, "It was for me," and "I'm scared," but we also see the responses of, "I can hear sounds," and "I can't see." It once again is a parallel back to the Andrew and Jake situation, where one spirit can see and maneuver the body, while the other is trapped down below the surface, able to listen, but unable to do much else. This feels like the solution to Golden Freddy that we've been waiting for. The problem with him is that we've always assumed he was just one kid, one spirit who we tried to make fit into all the various details about the lore, but it never quite worked. And that's because it would never work. In reality, you always needed two entities. One, sensitive and kind, a younger brother looking for peace, and one, the victim of a brutal murder, violently eager for revenge. And here's the real twist, my friends, that might not be all. There's one last small detail in the StitchReactZ story that we have to keep an eye on. We learned in that story that Jake and Andrew aren't intentionally murdering people, that when they reach out to touch someone, they accidentally zap them. Jake assumes it's Andrew doing it, but he's wrong. Final quote from the book. "I just want to scare people, okay? The zap is killing them." Well, that wasn't what I wanted.
The zap is killing them, my guy.
Isn't doing what you want. Maybe it's doing something someone else wants. Maybe something else is here with us. You were a hitchhiker on the man who killed you. Why can't someone else hitchhike with us? So it looks like there might be more souls involved when it comes to Golden Freddy, but that's a story for another day.
Bruh. We need to start calling, like, Golden Freddy, like, the spirit heap instead of scrap heap, because, like, Jesus Christ. Just got a heap of spirits just latching on to the suit.
And with that, my friends, it's the last book until next year. There's definitely a few stories I haven't talked about that merit another video or two, but for now, Fazbear Frights and all its numerous lore reveals have come to an end, which I gotta say I'm kind of sad about. These have been a great way to engage with the mystery of the
say something, but never mind.
with the slow drip coming
Probably
out over
wrong.
the course of this year, like a book every other month. It's been a really cool release strategy. And honestly, some of these stories are the creepiest things produced by this franchise in a long...
Actually, I think MatPat's about done. Yeah, it's an audible. No, like, when you watch MatPat for, like, 5 straight years on your YouTube channel for reaction videos, you just know, like, when it's the end, even though there's, like, 3 minutes left, or when there's an ad coming up. I don't know, because he's really slick with those transitions, and that's why he always be getting them sponsorships. Anyway, guys, that was Game Theory FNAF. We solved Golden Freddy. Pretty great theory, not gonna lie. It aligns with a lot of stuff. Makes a lot of freaking sense, and I hope this theory's right, because that'll make Golden Freddy 10 times more interesting than what the animatronic is itself. And if William Afton is still alive somewhere, I hope we can find a way to kill him in the game, because I swear to God, I've always wanted to take a crack at William Afton. You never know, he might play as one of the animatronics near the end of the game and have a fist fight with a halfly operating scrap trap suit. But anyway, guys, that was it. If you guys want more MatPat, make sure you guys, or FNAF SB, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment below, subscribe for more coming history today. Subscribe and turn on notifications and comment down below. See you awesome kissers later. Peace out.